everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a replacement video for my August wrap-up. Why? Because August has been chronicled in vlogs, top to bottom. I don't want to reiterate everything about those books that I've read. There will be a vlog coming up for you guys to watch that has literally all of August in it. That will be reading to a 5-star. Have I found a 5-star yet? No. Is it August 31st? Yes. But that vlog will be coming hopefully soon. Instead of a August wrap-up, I'm going to talk about my fall TBR heading forward. So in my mind, I must clarify this because I've realized I've said it a few times and people are like, that's fall? What? Fall starts in September because it is still so hot outside. It is not even conducive at all to a fall mindset. Fall starts when school starts, when my teaching job picks up again for piano. In September is when fall starts for me. And fall goes until there's snow on the ground, which, if you guys didn't know, I live in Canada. I live in the damn smack middle of Canada in the prairies. And if you don't know anything about the prairies, one thing you should know is that we get 8 months of winter, maybe 3 months of summer, and then the rest of it is fall and spring. So we get a very short fall season, usually. Sometimes we have a very long fall, even though it'll be like really fucking cold. There just won't be any snow on the ground until like December, which is spicy and interesting. But anyways, this is gonna be what I read for September, October, and some of November. In my head, that's kind of how fall works, which is why my book A Little Luck is coming out October 19th, because it is a fall release, but it works for the cozy months as well. It's a change of season book, so it's late summer to like as it's tipping into the colder weather, so be prepared for that. It's coming out October 19th. These are the books that I want to read in the coming months, and some books I have for videos, some books I just want to read if I have time, that sort of thing. We're gonna chat, and I want you guys to let me know down below what you have on your TBR for this fall. Before I get into this, I also want to say that September is going to be a month where I do a lot of rereading. September is my birthday month. I turn 26 on the 6th of September. And usually for my birthday month, I spend the month just reading anything that I want. Like, it's especially for me and my reading tastes and my reading mood. It's when I read books that I'm really excited about, that sort of thing. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. This year, I'm actually doing a rereading project for a video as well. That's gonna be rereading 5-star books. So that TBR, it's currently sitting over in my place. Stay tuned for that. A lot of the books that I have already read in my life will be reread during this month coming up. But outside of that, brand new books, let's talk about it. Okay, so let's get the videos out of the way. I recently did a SciFi weekend, and someone in the comments was like, oh, like you should try this again because the SciFi weekend didn't really go that well for me. So, and in my head, I was already planning another like week or weekend where I could read a bunch of sci-fis. So I have another one in mind. When I'm gonna do it, I don't know, but I have these 4 sci-fi books that I really would like to read. We have The City Inside by Samit Basu. I know absolutely nothing about this, but it's sci-fi and it's little, so I'm ready for it. Then I have Fault Tolerance by Valerie Valdez, which is book number 3 to the Chilling Effect series, and I'm so excited to get to this. I believe Valerie Valdez actually just released a new sci-fi as well. I will probably try to get my hands on at some point, but I am excited to conclude this trilogy that is honestly just a romp in space, so I know I'm gonna love that one. I recently picked up Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, so that is also on this list. Chunky Boy, first Tchaikovsky ever, very excited. And Rubicon by J.S. Dowes, or Duez, or Dews, I don't know, but J.S. has written some of my favorite sci-fis ever, The Last Watch and The Exiled Fleet, 2 that I absolutely adore. This is not part of that same series, but it is the same author, so I'm ready to dive into this. Hopefully I'm setting myself up for success with this next one because I have 2 authors that I know I already love, and then 2 that I'm excited about and that are wild cards, but it's fine. We'll talk about the series video that I have. So I am going to be finishing up the Red Rising trilogy with Morning Star. This is going to be a early September read because I would love to start it, and it's literally August 31st today, so I would love to wrap that video, and I am desperate to know what happened after Golden Sun, so definitely gonna be reading this as soon as possible. After that, the next series video I have for you guys, and I have promised you guys, is the City of Brass trilogy. So I have previously read The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, so I need to reread it because it's been a hot, sexy second, and then go into the second and the third. I am excited to get into this series and really figure out why people love it so much. Like, The City of Brass was a good book, but I've heard that it gets better with each book, so we'll see if that pans out. But yes, this is going to be the next series video that I do. After that, I have plans to do a Foundry Side series video. So I have the first one, and I'm probably gonna get the second and third from the library when I decide to pick up this series and do that video. But I am so excited to reread this because this is a book that I featured in one of my first bigger reading vlogs as a creator on here. I ended up reading this for Reading BookTube's favorites. It was Reagan from Peruse Project that I picked. I've only done 2 of those videos and I should do more. It's just, it takes a lot out of me to do that when I'm reading people's favorites that not necessarily something that I want to read. As a mood reader, it's kind of hard. But Reagan was a perfect pick for my first one because a lot of her books, I trust her with my life, and her book opinions are amazing. That's when I read Foundry Side, and it's also when I read The Way of Kings, but that's fine. So I'd love to reread this and then dive into the rest of the series. This one's kind of a wild card, and I hope I can fit it in the fall, but I would love to do a series video on the Radiant Emperor. I think that's what this duology is called, by Shelley Parker Chan. She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World vibes, because I just got He Who Drowned the World in the mail, and as a pre-order, it was just released, so I would love to reread She Who Became the Sun and then dive into He Who Drowned the World. I'm going to be rereading the first one no matter what with this duology because I just don't remember enough of it, and I feel like a reread is going to help me appreciate it even more. So reread this one, dive into the second one. Everything's gonna be great and wonderful. Those are my series videos coming up for you guys, so you know the forecast of my channel. I'm not actually sure which one I'm gonna do first, Foundry Side or She Who Became the Sun. It depends on my mood, but that's what's coming next. Anyways, besides those, I have a bunch of books that I would love to read that have no rhyme or reason to them, just because I want to read them. I will mention this trilogy first because I want to read the entirety of Robin Hobb's Live Ship Traders trilogy. I think that fall is the perfect time for epic fantasy, so when I have the time, I will try to squeeze these in. Do you guys want me to do a reading vlog for this trilogy? Because I can. I have said that it doesn't quite fit my series mold, because the series, if you're new to my channel, is because I have started so many series in my life and I need to cut down and actually finish series that I start. I reread the first book of a completed series that is out in the world and then finish it. Because I haven't read any of these, this doesn't follow that mold. I would love to read this trilogy. Let me know if you want me to do a dedicated reading vlog for the entire trilogy, because I will. It'll just be a random reading vlog that goes up one day. If not, I will just read them and include them whenever I'm reading them. We'll talk about this one next because I'm kind of currently reading it, and that is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is one of those TikTok writer books. Hannah Nicole Mayer became really popular on TikTok because of her skits pretending to be the assistant to a morally gray villain. I know you guys have seen those videos, but this was finally released and I picked it up. I'm only 50 some pages through it, but I would like to read this fall as well. I think it's gonna be a fun read. So from what I read so far, it's pretty fun. Then I also got a order of Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is an itty bitty little fairy tale retelling. I think it's a rewriting of the Aurora myth of Sleeping Beauty. I could be wrong, but it's this blood on a thorn that's getting me, you know? And I think I've heard someone pitch it as Sleeping Beauty, so I would love to read this. You guys know I love T. Kingfisher, so this is on my list. Honestly, I was gonna put Paladin's Grace on this list as well. It's another T. Kingfisher, but I just have so many books. It's a maybe. I also have Cult Classic by Sloane Crossley. This one I have Crossley, like Sidney Crossley. Yep. Cult Classic by Sloane Crossley. Because I have the audiobook through my Libby app, and I just got this in a book outlet order. I think it would be perfect to read for this kind of transition-y time of year, because it reminds me of that movie Ghosts of Girlfriends Past or something with Matthew McConaughey, where all of his ex-girlfriends visit him or something. This one is pitched on the back as delicious and spooky. So I'm like, is it actually gonna be spooky or is this more literary weirdness? So I'm gonna go in and find out. The cover and the title have caught me. I've almost bought it so many times on Book Outlet, and I finally bit the bullet and I was like, let's just try it. It was literally like $6, so might as well. Then I also have The Name Bearer by Natalia Hernandez. This is a self-pubed indie fantasy. Natalia Hernandez herself is an indigenous Latinx and queer book nerd, and I love her TikTok so much, and I've been following her since Name Bearer was released, I do believe, or like right before, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this cover, and I'm very excited to see what this is all about. I also have this big epic fantasy, The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz. This one, again, I also don't know anything about. It's on the back. It says, 2 women embark on an unforgettable quest in this sweeping fantasy debut inspired by the history and folklore of South America. So I'm ready to dive into this thick, chunky fantasy. It's been a hot 60 seconds since I've read some thick, chunky fantasy. So you'll see a, a reoccurring theme in these next few books, because the next one is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. Now this is a book that in my head is a November read. It's literally why I haven't read it yet. Like, it's been on my TBR since last like October or something, whenever it was released. In my head it's a November book. I didn't get to it last November, so I just put it off. So I'm gonna try to get to it like this fall, October, November time, when it starts to get really cold and crispy and gross out. Like gross, i.e. like, I was about to say like melty gross snow, and I'm like, we don't really get melty gross snow. When it snows here in Canada. So, but like when it gets to that crispy, rainy, have to wear like a raincoat sort of, have to start wearing your boots kind of weather, that's this book. I'm excited, and I'm definitely gonna read it this year, I promise. Another one that I have on my list that is also a November vibe book to me is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Now this book I have had on my shelves and on my TBR 2 separate times before I had it now, and I've unhauled this book before, I think twice. But I just keep picking up this book from the thrift store, and I swear to God I'm gonna read it now, because Susanna Clarke wrote Piranesi, and Piranesi is such a cool little book. I really enjoy her writing. So I'm intrigued to see what this chunk literally is all about, and I feel like it's a good, like, slower historical fantasy, you know? It's these two are just gonna be the chunky boys, if you will. Outside of those, I have these 3 books, and I think that's pretty much it that I would like to read this fall, including my giant stacks of rereads. I have so much I want to read this fall, it's fine. Fall is the time to read, if you will. I have The Shadow Glass on here, which is a book that I just recently picked up from Book Outlet as well, by Josh Winning. This is a fantasy based on 80s puppet horror films. I don't know, but Bill Reeds from TikTok talked about it and it sounded really cool. So I might make my friends read this one with me for book club, just to see what it's like, because it sounds kooky and fun. And I also have The Nesting by C.J. Cook. C.J. Cook is the author of The Lighthouse Witches, which I read last year. And I remember picking this up last year after reading The Lighthouse Witches, just because I liked C.J. Cook's writing and atmosphere. So I'm excited about this, and this cover just gives me gothic vibes, and I love it. Last but not least, I also have this book, Night Film by Marisha Pessel. This is a chunky, thick, it's chunky just because it's heavy. It is dense, and it's a multimedia book, which I'm excited to get into, let me tell you. It looks really cool. So this is on my list as well for like October spooky time. I also have, I believe, Slewfoot coming in from the library, and possibly Final Girls by Riley Sager coming in from the library as well, as like more spooky fall reads. But if I get to those, who knows? That, my friends, is my fall TBR. I guess I'll put like a, do I want to keep my rereads a secret TBR? No, I'll give you a pan over of the possibilities that I'm gonna be including in that video, so you can see that. I'll insert it here. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching. But yes, as I said at the beginning, please let me know down below what books are on your fall TBR. I would really love to know. I am so excited to get into all of these books. Like, even if I read 50% of this fall TBR, I'm gonna be so happy, because these are just books that I've been meaning. Woo! The weight on my chest is unreal right now. meaning to read for a while and or just have been really excited to get to. Also, if you've read any of these, please let me know your impressions or if you think I'm gonna like them, if I haven't already read them, like my reread stack here or my other rereads. But yes, my friends, this is my fall TBR. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in another one very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.